Jody, not only are we live, we're live 5 minutes early.
Yes, because it's a very important topic.
It's an important topic, and I got to dip early. So that's, I got a lot going on, my friend. A lot going on.
All right. Well, let's get to it.
We're going to talk about WAF, and it was like the WAF special feature, but what path are we taking this? We do have a special guest that's going to jump in here at some point. So let's go all the way back. I think we're talking 1977.
That's when the WAF was established, right?
And I'm going off of everything with memory here because I haven't done a whole bunch of research and stuff. But
I got some stuff when they start to split. I do have that, so I got my notes. I got my notes.
I know. Hey, lucky Ryan. Hey, USS Liberty, never forget. We got a. I was around the sport when the split happened.
Yeah.
So, 1977. Of course, we've got John Miazdik heavily involved. We've got the birth of the World Arm Wrestling Federation. Yeah, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go, my man?
Well, I mean, at that point, it was just one WAF world, right? Because when we say World Championships, I think some people, the newer people in the sport, and I'll just say like maybe four or 5 years and under, need to understand when we talk about world titles, and we all talked about or heard stories like Alan Fisher, how he had 26 world titles or whatever. Now, those weren't WAF titles, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Those weren't WAF titles.
A lot of those were Petaluma.
Yes, and those were recognized as world titles too. Mm-hmm. So Petaluma days, right? The WWC, which is the World Wrist Wrestling Championships. Now, that always took place in Petaluma, California in October, okay? Now, while that was going on, WAF was still going on too. So you still had two, parallel championships. And, we're talking the WWC, guys like Neil Pickup would show up. Guys like Ingen Terzi would show up. So that was a legit,
In my mind, that's like the later version of WWC.
So I didn't mean what is the WPPA or WPAA? There's that. That was the early 80s. That was the Johnny Walkers and, the early Brzezinks and all those guys, Cleve Deans. Those were those world titles.
That's back when we had to find stuff out through flyers.
Right. There was no social media,
Team captain was important because like when we were in the early days, the first time I went to Worlds was 2001. And we were finding stuff out because we had one person that was like the liaison for the team. Lisa Blanchard was the one that did it for Canada at the time. And she would make sure we got all the information and we had our visas applied for, and we literally mailed our passports away and hoped they came back.
Yeah.
We're going back. I have a book called The Book of Arm Sport. Now, the Book of Arm Sport was published by Mr. Das from India. He was one of the original guys that was involved with WAF.
Right.
And it was him and Bob O'Leary from the United States that kind of in the heyday of WAF back in, well, look who it is. I'm going to add you to the chat, Miss Denise, and you are on mute.
You're on mute, Denise.
Is that better?
There you are.
I can't hear you guys, so.
You can't hear us? Turn up your speaker.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I warned you. What am I doing wrong? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. You can't hear us?
I can't hear you, so what am I doing wrong?
Turn up your volume. I'll send her a message on Facebook.
Oh. Shoot, I don't know what to do, guys.
He's going to send you a message. Check your phone. And why Denise is getting that.
Everybody can hear me, but I can't hear them.
Yep.
I'm
trying to unmute her mic. There.
Host has muted my mic. But I can't hear you guys. I don't know why.
What?
Let
Because you log out
me
and log
try
back in?
this again. I'm still trying to figure out why it won't let me hear you.
Okay,
Yeah, let's try it again.
So I was talking about the book of Arm Sport. It was published by Mr. Doss, and it's got a history of every WAF championship up to, I believe, 1996. Maybe it doesn't go up that far. But I do have that book, and it's got like the anthology of all of it. Like it's you find the Gary Goodriches in there, you find Cleve Dean, you find Kirk Kvikstad. Do you remember that name?
Vaguely.
So those there were guys that would get into the world's strongest man competition based on winning the World Arm Wrestling Championships.
Right.
And he was one of them.
And here's the thing. So before Denise gets back on, we'll get real deep into it. The first ever in we all know now there's a WAF and there's an IFA, right? Now, let's go back. There was 2 different WAFs, okay? They split in 1998. So for those that don't know, because I know I see Ryan and Lucky, and I'm not sure how long they've been in the sport, but I'm assuming it's under 5 years, right? Denise, can you hear us?
But it's not letting me say anything.
I can hear you.
Can you still hear us? Maybe headphones?
I don't know why it's not letting me.
Do I need to put you on speaker?
Let me sign in on my laptop.
Okay.
Perfect.
So you were part of the first split there, Ryan. I meant 1998. So let me get this straight. There were 2 WAFs. So you had World Arm Wrestling Federation, which is what we got right now. And then you had World Arm Sports Federation. So when they split into 2, then you had the first split, and you were part of that first split. Go ahead and tell us how that went down, Mr. SB.
I was very, very new in the sport. Very new in the sport. And let me ask you if this sounds familiar. So the World Championship was awarded to Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Yep.
And somewhere along the way, the World Championship was taken away from Thunder Bay, Ontario. By the powers.
So familiar.
Does it sound familiar so far?
Mm-hmm.
And it led to a split. And then you had a World Championship that was a little bit smaller in Thunder Bay. Then you had one in Egypt that was run by Mr. O'Leary. And the one in Thunder Bay aged very well because you had guys like Neil Pickup, Yoshi Kanai, Marcio Barbosa. Like it was kind of a who's who from the countries that were in attendance, but it was lucky when your coach is 34 years in the sport and you get all the history lessons. Yeah. And eventually, you know, that other federation stayed around for a long time, but eventually it faded away. And then this
now we got this
a little bit different. Denise, can you hear us now? I think she's frozen, actually.
Oh. Now with this brand split, you know, now you had athletes. Now, do you remember, because was that your first Worlds, 98?
I was there as a spectator in 1998. I finished one spot too low at the Nationals to qualify.
Okay, so would that be what, third?
Third.
Okay.
I got a third on the left and a fourth on the right at Nationals.
Gotcha.
So Alan Hartnell, remember the story about him coming back after being my rival back in the late 90s, early 2000s, coming back and pulling up my Arnold qualifier, then going on to the Arnold. He actually pulled the world championship. And Earl Wilson was also in that class. And there was a gigantic Brazilian who I don't remember his name, but he beat them both.
Now, is that one guy? There was a big Brazilian dude. Maybe he's Brazilian. He ended up being like a WWE star. And I saw some old clips of him at a world championship.
I know who you're talking about. It wasn't him.
Okay.
Hey guys, but I still can't hear anything, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
can hear you on.
So I'm going to try my laptop, I guess.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Technical
Hey, Tim.
difficulties. Tim, what's up, man?
Going on.
You tell me, man. You guys are just hanging out, and relaxing over there. So how was World so far?
Good. It's good. It's been really nice. Beautiful
Yeah,
weather.
I gotta say before we go any further, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tim, but E.T. Manchanda, congratulations on your silver medal.
Yes.
Peyton Pickering, congratulations on your bronze.
Yep.
And I don't know how the rest of the Canadians have done, but
Ashley took second.
Ashley
And
took a
then,
second. Okay.
Yeah. And then another guy in the Masters, I want to say 80 kg class, looked really impressive, took second left-handed.
Didn't somebody from Grandmasters take first or something like that?
Can't remember. I don't know.
Okay. That's okay.
Ursula
we'll
got
come back.
second. Ursula got second place. So congrats, Ursula. Congrats, Ashley. There's always this WAF tension, but you know what? Congratulations to the people. WAF is still the hardest tournament in the world to win.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It is the world's, and it is.
Yes. And before you got on, we were kind of going back in history when even though WAF was going on, and you still had in the late 80s, early 90s, you had those WWC, the World Wrist Wrestling Championships in Petaluma, and that was still recognized as a world championship. And I was telling everybody in the chat how guys like Ing and Tersey would come and Neil Pickup would come, and that was a legit championship too. And so, for the younger audiences, younger as in experience in the sport, there were more than one world championship. I know we got this split right now, but we were just about to jump into there were two WAFs, and it started in 98, and Ryan was there in the forefront with all that. Now, going forward, SB, my question is, what was it like? I mean, when you went to a national, and now you got two WAFs, World Arm Wrestling Federation, World Arm Sports Federation. What was that like when you won a national? Did you have to pick which one, or how'd that work out?
No, it was quite different back then. So Fred Roy, who was the president of the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation, was one of the guys that founded the split. And there was all this semantics about it's not a split, it's us, it's still WAF. And, one wouldn't acknowledge the other, all this stuff. But Fred was the president of the World Arm Wrestling Federation and the president of the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation. We were firmly in the camp of the new organization that was formed. So there was no split. There was no even entertaining going to the other one. There was no path to get there. It was if you qualified, you went to the Worlds in Thunder Bay, and then subsequent years, wherever it ended up. And by the time it made it to the early 2000s, the other one was starting to fade.
Right.
And then I think Mr. O'Leary just kind of hung it up with that organization, and it kind of went away. I don't remember what year the last one was. I know that there was a couple of guys from New York that went to the other.
The last one was 2005.
Okay. So 2005. Okay, we got Denise on a laptop here. Maybe she can hear us. Denise?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Hey, long
We
time
got
no
Tim.
see, guys.
Hey.
Jordy and I, nice to see you.
Yeah, well, it takes me a while to get this shit figured out. So
It's all
And
good.
I got my souvenir, 1999 WAF World Gold Medal from my Mr. Cobra Rhodes himself. So
that's a hell of a nice memento.
Yeah,
I got all kinds of that
from?
stuff.
What's that?
99 was Japan.
This one was a split. This was the one in Russia.
Okay. In 99, yeah. Then we were in Japan.
Interestingly enough, we were back in Japan in 2005 for WAF championships.
Yeah.
And it's also the first year they ever did drug testing.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I was the first Canadian to ever get drug tested at a WAF championship.
And you must have done okay then.
I did okay, and I was sitting right next to Artem Klemenko, who did not do okay.
Yep. Well, the Russians have struggle with that.
Yeah.
So
which way are we going to go now? We're all here.
We are.
Well, we just got done talking about Thunder Bay. You know how World Arm Wrestling Federation was Thunder Bay. The World Arm Sports Federation was in Egypt that year. And I was asking Ryan, you know, what was it like? You know, did you have a choice to pick which one? And he was like, no, this is what you go through. And we went through that. Now, how does one go to the other worlds? That would be my question.
Okay, in 98, Bill and Jerry Cox hosted a qualifier in Boston, Massachusetts. And that's our top two in that. And I wasn't there. Leonard went there. The top two in that particular qualifier went to Thunder Bay.
Okay.
And because in 94 is when it used to be USA, was founded. And so, and I was president of that time of USA. So, and I was team manager because I'd been team manager since the early 90s with Moscow. Ryan, did you go to Moscow?
What year was Moscow?
92 to 98.
I wasn't even in the sport yet. I was 21 years old and fresh. 1997 was my first year.
You're a baby. You're a baby.
Jody and I are 50 next year.
Yeah.
Well, I was 50 several times, so it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
So
we didn't have
I
a
was going to
qualifier.
bring out a point in Thunder Bay, and Ryan may not remember this, but Canada hosted, and Team USA took the team title, so by 2 or 3 points. I still have the trophy here. I still have the trophy here.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we had a good team.
We had a lot of really, really good arm wrestlers, but the teams weren't huge. It was the first worlds for the newly formed organization, which a lot would argue was just a reincarnation of the old organization. And there was, there was some debate on what was happening there. But I do remember the stories of Fred Roy getting escorted out of the WAF Congress meeting at gunpoint, security. And,
gunpoint.
Well, and it was corruption I was going to say at its finest, but not necessarily so.
Yeah, 1997. 97 was India, and Fred was escorted out of there.
Yeah, wow. And that magically in 98 there was a split. I'm shocked. So,
yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to do, at this stage in the game and in my life, was go through the same damn thing again.
Right.
And because it's just ridiculous. Either you're promoting arm wrestling or you're not.
Well, then we go through many years of just WAF. So
20 years.
Yeah. So there was we'll call it the golden era. We had just one world championship essentially. Everyone was somewhat happy. Fred would always be fighting to maintain his position. There would be like proxy voting where I remember guys holding up these yellow pieces of paper that looked like a bouquet from all the countries that weren't there but handed their proxy, and it was like a game of.
And usually it was to Willie.
Yeah.
Usually it was Willie, and I was a member of Congress for many years, and a lot of the stuff was pretty shady, and we might mention that Hassan Hajidorov was also part of all that crap. So
well, then we go forward into let's talk about let's fast forward it into about let me look at my notes here.
When we merged back to one, 2006?
I think no, it was before then.
Because that's when
I thought it was 2002 or 2003.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
Yeah, 2002. US hosted. We hosted in 2002, and I don't know if that may have been the first one. 2003, I think Canada hosted.
Yeah.
So
I won the Open and the Open Gold.
So here's my notes. 2002, WAF was in Springfield, Illinois. The other WAF was in Egypt. 2003, WAF was in Ontario, Ottawa. The other one had Russia. 04, WAF had South Africa. The other one had Brazil. And then 05 was the last split, and that was Tokyo, Japan. The other one was another city in Japan. And after that,
Oh,
it kind of
really?
merged.
Also, it was
where it
longer than I thought. Well, they kept
Yeah.
losing countries because
Right.
of the
other
corruption.
Japan one was very small.
Yeah.
Because I know that Japan in 2005 was amazing.
Yeah,
Chris
it
Chandler
was
was 17, and he took, I think, second. And
Ooh, Chandler did? Nice.
yeah, and Bob Brown was there. We had a big team. My teams were usually 50 to 60.
Tim
So
Bresnan
we
was
took
scoring
third.
there.
In fact, U.S. took third in Canada in 2003, 2000, whatever that was. Japan, 2005. I have that trophy here too.
Yeah.
So
when you merge, can you someone, whether Denise or Ryan, tell us when they finally merged and we're back to one WAF, right? That was Manchester, England. So explain what exactly happened. One just said, we're done with this. Go back to one. Was there agreement? How did that all take place?
well, it fell apart. The other one fell apart. It didn't have the support because of the corruption. And so it just disintegrated.
Yeah, it didn't. There was no agreement to come back together. It just kind of went away, like it was just gone.
Yeah, it was gone. And I didn't go to England in 2006. I for some reason, I don't know why, but I didn't go to England in 2006. That's where Bajent had his debut as the jerk he was. I do remember that. Ron Bath was there. It was another good team. So.
Well, I mean, you look at the Worlds from 2003 in Canada. That's where a lot of the Pulling John footage was shot, and
yes,
built that storyline with Vovoda. And
and he had filmed from Tahoe,
yeah.
and also Petaluma. He was filming almost for 2 years.
Yeah.
Sevan. So
now, on a side note, and I hate to get off track, but what stopped Petaluma from being the WWC Risk World Championships? Because all that stuff happened before I got into the sport. I'm like, dang, I kind of missed all that. So,
well, in 2001, the city and county were subsidizing all the prize money and all that, and that ended in 2001 or 2002. And so the money in 2002 we hosted it again in Petaluma. Dave, we worked with Dave from 1990 through 2005 on Petaluma because he didn't have the staff, he didn't have the drive, but we hosted from 90 to 2005, but we had to move it in 2002 due to lack of sponsorship. We tried it in 2001 without that support, and just you can't afford to do that. And so with Dave's blessing, we moved it up to Reno. And it was in Reno, I think, from 2003 to 2006, if I remember right.
Talking about Boomtown?
Well, Boomtown, it was also, there was a place, I can't remember the name of the place, in downtown Reno. We held it the first year. It's not the same place now. And then Boomtown, I think, for 2 years. And then Dave says, I've got places in Chicago, so we're going to do it in Chicago. So we'd already planned to do it in Reno, but we said, well, okay, Dave, that's fine. And we changed the name to Tournament of Champions, so that there was a distinction. And then his connection fell through in Chicago, so it was amended to be WWC Tournament of Champions.
Gotcha.
So, and then, after that, it was just a USAA event, Tournament of Champions.
So, y'all mind if we jump forward a little bit?
Let's do. Go ahead.
I may remember that stuff better.
Let's talk about 2013.
Okay.
USA was to have the World Championship.
Well, it was voted in 2013.
It was voted in 2013 to hold it where?
In 2015.
Where at? What city?
Mesquite again.
Okay.
And yeah, Mesquite had hosted a world championship in the past. I was there.
2010. Mhm.
Yeah. What
Yeah, it was
happened?
voted in 2013 to have it hosted in Mesquite, Nevada, because in that point of time, the WAF Congress was voting 3 to 5 years ahead of time for the sponsors to the locations and host countries so they could plan.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Ryan remembers this. We'd be
Mhm.
3, 4, 5 years out. We knew where it was going to be. And it was at least 2013, maybe 2012, that the United States got the bid to host the Worlds in 2015, and which we had planned to do. And I think, Jody, I sent you what I had written, pretty much of a summary.
Yes.
We didn't know, as the U.S. didn't know, that Asen was shopping around for a different location where he could get more money, because the normal sanctioning fee was $3,000.
Right.
And in 2014, we were told it's going to be in Malaysia. Well, Malaysia paid them, and I have proof of that, paid Asen and whoever else 150,000 euros to host in Malaysia in 2015.
Even though we got the bid.
We had the bid for 3 years.
Right. Now, here's the thing. When you have the bid and you know that 3 years in advance, that gives you that much window to go ahead and get sponsors, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you have to not only you have to have everything in line, and it's a big, I've hosted Worlds 3 times, and it's a huge undertaking. And I'm going to even come a little bit more forward than that. In 2000, trying to think, 2016 or 17, Eager was granted the contract to host Poland.
Right.
In 2019. So he had, he'd been doing big tournaments for 20 years practically. And so he had contracts with the location, the sponsors, the city, the whole shebang, starting in 2017, and to host it in 2019. So there was no way he could change his mind. He had to host the Worlds in 2019. Right. So, and I don't know if you want to get into that mess right now or not.
Well, we have everything from IRPA to the change.
Okay.
I mean, the IRPA thing, kind of what really kicked off the stuff.
I sent Jody a document about IRPA.
I fed it into to ChatGPT and had them put it in a point form for me. So that's how I'm able to reference these dates so quickly.
Yeah, you cheat. I have to rely on this. IRPA was formed. I had a meeting in Turkey with Eager and Kirill. It was Eager and Kirill's brainstorm about IRPA. And it was a point system they were going to award, and they had me as their representative in the United States for IRPA. It was a point system at the end of the year. There was prize money in each event. At the end of the year, the point winner won money. It cost $50 to enter to become a member, because it was only members that could qualify. And I had a meeting in Turkey with Eager and Kirill, and we were going over all this. And at that time, I was informed that a long time ago, in the early 2000s, Eager and Hassan were business partners. I don't know what happened, but that went to the wayside. And because they co-sponsored the Arnold several years as PAL. They were sponsors and were in our booth and all that stuff. But that fell apart somehow. And I knew that there had been a disagreement I don't know what it was. But at the meeting in 2018 in Turkey, they told me that ASEAN had, keep in mind, ASEAN had nothing to do with IRPA.
Right.
Had told them, if you don't give me half of whatever memberships you get, and this is in fall of 2018, then I will take the World Championship away from you. So you can't host it. This is less than a year before it was supposed to be in Poland. And Igor told him, it's not your baby, you know, it's our, why would we give you money if you have nothing to do with it? It wasn't WAF sanctioned, nothing, it was independent. And Igor threatened again, and then he took the Worlds away and put it in Bulgaria. And that's why I emphasize that Igor had no choice but to host Poland. You guys have all hosted events. You can't, in less than a year, back out of all those contracts. Plain and simple.
Pretty difficult, yeah.
And so that's what caused the split. It was a personal disagreement between ASEAN and Igor. ASEAN demanding money that he had no right to. You know, and I don't blame Igor. I would told him to take a fly in league too. You know. Yeah. But so, go ahead.
Here we are. So how does IFA come to be?
Well, after that disagreement, well, of course, then WAF is mad because it wasn't IFA in 2019.
Right.
It was after, of course, WAF was mad because Igor went ahead and did his part, which he was contracted to do. Then I have this, I sent it to Jody. He banned, I think the first one to ban that he banned.
There's that B word.
It was either the referees or Anders. And Anders just for announcing at PAL events. And Anders is independent at this point. And then the referees, if you refereed anywhere but WAF, you were suspended or not in good standing. And then it was athletes. And so that the next year we had to do something. You know, we had, and then that was also the year that ASEAN decided Leonard wasn't going to be a yes man, and I put that in here too.
Yeah.
Leonard was the head referee since 2002 of WAF, and he wasn't a yes man. There were several tournaments. I think Brazil was one. And there's several that ASEAN said, no, you're not using downside refs, but it's in the rules that you have to have downside refs. And then one of the championships, if you don't do what I say, then I will throw you out of the event and you're on your own. We'll fly home. And his quote to Leonard was, I'm the father, you're the son, you're going to do as I say.
Damn.
And so when we did the 2018 in Turkey, Leonard was head ref. And then there was an emergency. During Congress, nothing was brought up about the head referee. In 2014, in the Constitution, it was passed that only Congress could remove the head referee by a vote.
Right.
Okay. And then in 2018, Leonard was the head ref for the entire championship. And that one night, ASEAN had an emergency board meeting and demanded that Leonard be removed, and that's how that happened. Congress never had any inkling, because I was there, any inkling that this was going to happen. And he removed Leonard. And
I think the frustrating part about all that was that he wasn't voted. There should be a vote, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It should have been brought up in Congress if there was a problem.
Right.
And Congress should have voted. But at the end of the championship, ASEAN had an emergency executive board meeting with him and his yes men and said, I'm going to I want him removed. And so everybody said, oh, yeah, okay. I think Simon abstained. But that's how that happened. And when they booted Leonard out, the rest of the referees said, screw you guys. You know, we're out of here. If you can do that against the Constitution, you can do anything.
Right.
So,
and that's unfortunate, you know, because you would think that it starts from the top and then it kind of trickles down. And here we are, you know.
Well, Congress is supposed to make the decisions. They don't make the decisions. The year before, 2 years before, Sen had put through Congress, no, I think it was the year after, that the executive board can overrule any decision the Congress makes, regardless of what it is. Those 7 people can say, no, we don't agree with that, so it's not happening.
So this happens. Is there anything else that happened that kind of pushed everyone to making this new organization?
Well, absolutely. When you're banning referees and you're banning it, and I use a silly example. I usually eat at Wendy's, but I went to McDonald's, and Wendy's says you can't come back here because you went to McDonald's.
They got better fries anyway.
Yeah, so IFA, when they were banning, was not yet. We had no choice. You know, we had no choice.
And then,
but to do what we do.
How did the
and again, it's nothing I wanted to go through again.
Yeah. How did that first like this is maybe next week we get into the formation of IFA if you're willing to come back on.
Sure. If I can, maybe I can figure it out again.
We can do a 2-parter because this is kind of a focus on WAF.
Yeah.
And I do want to actually ask some hard questions about IFA, but maybe this isn't the right venue. We'll do it next week. But
IFA was formed by Finland and Sweden and Poland, and we're a nonprofit corporation that is registered in Switzerland.
Right. Yeah, I know all of these things. I will tell you that my personal experience recently, and we're talking about, I mean, it feels like we took 3 years off of everything with the pandemic, but because
and the pandemic didn't help at all. Yeah.
No, it didn't help anybody. And we ended up in a situation in Canada where our president went to IFA and subsequently was banned from WAF, who we were still a member of at the time. And the WAF wanted the CAWF to ban our president, which led to a lot of, robust debate, we'll say, because Rick's a popular guy in Canada. A lot of people like him. They look up to him. He's helped a lot of people. He's been great for the sport. And we have this situation where now WAF, who, let's be honest, most Canadian arm wrestlers have zero experience with, are swooping in and they're empowering someone else to come in and tell us what we need to do. And Canadians don't like to be told what to do.
Well, and neither do Americans. We're a little bit different than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But IFA is in existence because we have arm wrestlers that have enough balls to say that isn't going to work with us. You can't tell us what to do. And Simon has a few followers, but he never has had a base like we have for 40 years, and but the main thing is the corruption. I'm sure that it wouldn't be if we got rid of Sen and Martin and the rest of the board, they'd say, yeah, sure, whatever you say, that there could be a unification. But other than that,
So I got a question. What would it hurt? Because I mean, I guess you could say once all this happens, the original thought that you're just punishing the athlete. So here's my question: what would it hurt to have an athlete compete at WAF and IFA? What would it hurt?
Wouldn't hurt. They can, as far as I'm concerned, and as far
I
as
guess I'm only speaking. I can't speak for other countries and their government, but let's just say us here in the States, and we can say Canada too, right? So what would it hurt? For example, to say, me competing IFA, Tim's at WAF, what would it hurt how would it hurt us to compete at both if we chose to?
I don't think it would.
I'll chime in.
IFA doesn't have a problem with that.
I am curious. I see Tim sitting there waiting to say
All right, Tim.
I'll chime in. Jody, if you're playing on the Steelers, can you play in the Canadian Football League?
Oh, well, since you put it that way, no.
Okay. It's a choice at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's a choice.
It's the athlete's choice.
All it is a choice. When we say ban, we say suspended. It was all chosen. It wasn't forced. It's
Right.
a choice. If you want to go pull there, that's your choice. Cool. You can't pull at ours. It's very cut and dry and simple. It's a choice. Because
arm wrestling,
one league has a choice and the other one doesn't make it right or a wrong. It's at the end of the day a choice. You are free to do what you please. And then at the end of the day, that's your choice. Now, when you make your choice,
choose to go to IFA, you've made that decision, and WAF, either you're promoting arm wrestling or you're not. Yeah. If you're banning arm wrestlers,
but at the end of the day, just because one doesn't let you come back and the other one does, at the end of the day, you made that choice and nobody made it for you.
But we're not football. We're not baseball. We don't get paid.
A lot of people get paid.
Pay. Like
not a lot.
If I were to compete in on an amateur curling team, and I want to go compete for another amateur curling team, I can do that. So
there's no contract involved. Right. I mean, I understand what Tim's saying. Tim made it as simple as possible.
Well, it is a choice,
It's a choice, but at the same time, the difference is there's a contract involved, whereas ain't nobody contracted. That's all I'm trying to say.
A lot of people are contracted by their government and get paid from that one government to go to that one place. So,
but that's not Americans. That's not
a big prop up. That's a big prop up for those. WAF.
We're the only ones pretty much in North America.
So
Mexico, Canada, U.S. It's the Europeans that are paid and subsidized,
which makes up 90% of the world.
This is about an ideology, right? So it's the idea of banning athletes that pisses people off and pushes them away to the other side, I think.
Well, either you're promoting arm wrestling or you're not. You can't promote arm wrestling without arm wrestlers.
Because I'll say this, in a perfect world, now that we're like this now, what I would like to do, in my heart of hearts, I would like to sit there and experience both.
Yes, absolutely. You should have that opportunity.
Hey, I experienced the WAF. I experienced the IFA. I would like to sit there and say, okay, what's the difference? Well, these guys did this. These guys did that. But, you know.
No, absolutely.
You still have a path. This is the kind of thing, right? The two can coexist. You can still go to both. You just can't do IFA first. Or you apply for your reinstatement and you go, but you can never go back.
And pay money.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah,
but I mean,
a penalty for eating at Wendy's.
If Sean Pickering reached out to me way back in the day, and he said, Peyton's debating on going to the World Championship. You know, which one's the one to go to? I said, well, if you want to experience both, go to WAF first. That way you're free to do whatever you want after that if you decide to go check out IFA. So if you go to IFA first, you got to go through the rigmarole of all this stuff. And they never really told me which way they were leaning. Obviously, they've gone to WAF now, and Peyton has there's a lot of stuff I want to get into, but I don't know if we have enough time left here. This is now we have a scenario where, you know, East versus West is kind of in concert with WAF a little bit, where it definitely comes into play because from my personal experience, I was asked if I was banned or not, because that would allow me to pull at East versus West or not. If I was banned from WAF, I could not. And when they found out I wasn't, there was a match put on the table. So it would have eliminated me from contention. I guess some folks don't realize what choice they're making when they go one way or the other. Because
they shouldn't have to be in that position.
Yeah.
They should be able to pull wherever they want to pull. They should not be put in that position.
They can pull wherever they want to pull.
Let me ask you a question. Just let me ask you a devil's advocate question here, Tim.
Yeah.
So you're putting on the Arizona states.
Yeah.
And you've got a banned athlete coming from WAF. And somebody calls you and says, you cannot have that athlete at your event, or we'll ban every athlete that competes there. How do you react to that?
I don't let them pull.
Okay.
It's my choice.
Answer.
It's my choice, and it's my organization. It's my path that I chose for myself and my promotion.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Well, WAF is a dictatorship, and they're lining their pockets. Ryan, you, I know, have talked like the 6 days of competition. Well, you're required to be there the entire time.
Yeah.
You're required to stay in the host hotels, and WAF is getting money from every athlete from every night hotel. Gee, why are there 6 days of competition? That's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah.
You know, it's and you and I both know that the Constitution, I don't know if they've changed it, because you were questioning Mercia, I think, about in the Constitution, until I don't know if they've changed it, the board was a volunteer position.
Yes.
And then they voted in wages for Asen and Mercia. And then they increased the wages. And you asked Mercia, well, it says in the Constitution, it's a volunteer position. Oh, well, we can change that.
He did literally say that. Now, to that, I will say, because I'm trying to be as neutral as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I had a really good interview with Mircha, had a good interview with others. They're both on Armed Crossfire, which are still on this channel. You can go back and watch those. They will do that kind of thing until the rest of the Congress stands up and says you cannot do it anymore.
Bingo.
But they won't. That's the problem. So they're going to do what they want until the people that hold the power, which is the large group, says no more.
Well, they don't hold the power, though, Ryan. They've changed that in the Constitution. The executive board can overrule any decision that Congress makes.
But there's still a big group of the executive board. Like, they can still.
Well, there's seven yes men.
Yeah.
They're afraid of Asen.
Yeah, this is fair.
So, you know, so that nothing's going to change.
Yeah. Well, gang, in the middle of all of this, I now have to tell you I'm almost out of time. I have to go to deal with some personal stuff. Can we come back on here next week and talk about the formation of IFA? And I'm going to have some very difficult questions for you, Denise. Maybe they're not.
Oh, I've answered one or two in my life.
Okay. Can we do it?
We can talk about Tim's first place at WAF.
We better be talking about that.
Hey, no pressure, man. Podium on that bad boy. Let's go.
Yeah.
We got this.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do this, because I want you to show us the medal. I want it all.
I fly home on Tuesday, so if it is Tuesday, I will be in the air.
We'll see what we can do.
Now next week I'm actually going to take we say vacation, until I'm gone from Saturday through Wednesday. So, I might be able to do it, though. I'll be in Nevada. So when were you thinking? Probably Tuesday. Same time, same place?
Same time, same place, I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah, because I'll be down in Laughlin. I'll try not to be in my pajamas. So
be in your pajamas. I'll wear mine too.
Hey, there we go. Well, then we can go to Walmart.
Okay.
So, well, thank you guys. And so
thank you.
I'll just got to put it up, make sure I'm not up at the casino all night. So
I'm looking forward to the comments section on this one, the questions that will come up. And because we're going to do an IFA one next week, please send in your questions.
Yes, so we can ask them.
Right on.
Everybody.
I'm wondering if it wouldn't hurt maybe to have Anders on next week too. Can you reach out to Anders?
Absolutely, I can. Yeah.
Because I know he started a new job, and because to make it quick, we had to apply to join IFA. AAA applied. There were several associations that applied to join IFA as a member association. So we had to go through that, send in all our corporate papers and all that stuff. It wasn't you. The countries that our members had to apply and meet requirements.
Okay.
So that's something people may not know.
All right.
It wasn't just natural that USAA was a member.
More on this next week, and make sure you catch me tonight on the 98% podcast.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
See you.
All right, Tim. Good luck, man. Good luck.
Good luck, Tim.
Good luck. See you later.
Later.